Hey everybody, welcome to my studio. It's Joanne Rogers here with Design with Jo. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Central Alberta, Canada, and I've been designing with you in mind since 1999. So thanks for joining me in my studio for my Facebook Live today. Today we're going to do a card, and we're going to use stencils. And I'm going to show you how to make a stencil, how to stencil, and then how to decorate the card after you have your stencil in behind there. So while we wait just a little bit for people to maybe get on the line here, I just want to do a couple things. So last week we had a project. I'm going to show you the project that we did last week. And maybe as you come online, just say who you are and where you're coming from. So hey Marilyn. Great to have you, thanks. So this was our project last week. So we made these cute little hot chocolate packets, and I had one of the Santa Workshop elements still in my little bag of tricks, and so this was the prize if you commented or you shared the video. So I had lots of people who did that for me, and I thank you for doing that. I had a number of people who did make a comment and who shared for me, so thank you for doing that very much. And I've got everybody in my little tin. My tin is actually getting a little bit small for some of the names that I have in here, so I'm just going to draw right now. And I have two, so I'm going to take one of them away. Sorry for that person. So my person is Jean. So Jean, if you need Jean Tuck, if you can send me, I don't have your address, Jean, so I will need to know where I need to send these. So give me a shout, and you can just email me at jo@designwithjo.ca, and I'll get those sent out to you right away. Okay, so we want to get on with today's project. So let me just, actually I didn't get myself going here. I thought I did. There I am. Okay, so what we're going to work on today is stenciling. And we're first of all going to make a stencil using our large letter framelits. And so in order to get going, I'm going to turn you down and I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple other things that I have. So here we go. Well there. Let me know if you can't, please, and I'll be sure to fix that for you. So the first thing I want to talk about is we only have today and tomorrow left to get these guys here. So these are the Snowfall Thinlits and the Snow is Glistening stamp sets. If you are to get this right now, and we still have some available, so this stamp set and these framelits are only exclusive until the end of November. And right now, if you place an online order and get that on my shopping site and use host code NXX3MJV4, I'll send you a package of these snowflake trinkets. And these are really, really quite pretty. And I've used these on a couple of my cards and in a class that we did. And so you can have those for free, and I'll send those to you in the mail. So just a reminder that that's almost done. And then also I have a steal of a deal this week. So my product of the week is ink pads. And so my steal of a deal right now is if you buy 4 ink pads, then I'll send you a 5th one for free. And this is a perfect time to get some of the new colors. So I've got Highland Heather, Soft Sea Foam, Balmy Blue, Mango Melody here. And so if you do that, I will again send you this in the mail. And why not add to your colors? And plus, if you do it today, they're still 10% off. So the inks are still 10% off. So you can get those in and get a deal on those, plus get that additional one. So I want to let you know about that, and I think that's it. So now let's get to making some cards. Okay, so we are going to make a template. So we're, you know, I was debating on whether to show you the card, but I think I better. So here's the card. So it's a little bit different orientation, so it's a little larger one. It fits in a business envelope, but we are going to be stenciling the background here and then putting the edgelets over top. And I've got some tips on the edgelets, and I've got some tips on the stencil as well. So this is what we're going to be making. So first of all, we have to start by making our template for the stencil. So what we're using for that is the large letter framelits. And I know these look a little daunting in the catalog because they're at a little higher price point, but I have used mine over and over again. They are about 2 inches tall and they're very classic lettering styles, so you can't go wrong with these. In fact, I think you are going to love them so much that you will have too many ideas to make with them. So this is our window sheet. So I've cut it down here, and you probably want to have a window sheet that is at least 3 inches tall. Could be a little bit taller than that. And you want it to be at least an inch wider than your letters. So my piece here, I think, what did I even make my piece? My piece here is 6 inches by 3 inches. And here's a tip for getting your letters lined up. So I take my grid pad from my Stamparatus, and I put my window sheet down and I line it up with my lines, and I'm hoping that you can see it. And I'm just going to give myself a little piece of washi tape so it doesn't move. And then I'm going to do the word joy, and because it's a 3-letter word, or this would work for a 3 or a 5 or a 7, I'm going to start with my middle letter. So in this case it's an O, and I'm going to line it up down here with that with that first line that I have. I'm going to line it up, and it doesn't matter if it's in the middle of your piece of window sheet, because we're going to put the window sheet wherever we want it to be. I just want to make sure that I've got it lined up. So I can see that my line here is going straight through the middle of the O, so that's good. Now it doesn't matter which one you do next, if you do the one on the right or the one on the left. I'm going to do the one on the right. So I'm lining it up again with this line down here. And I'm leaving not a huge amount of space in between. It's hard to see because my washi tape is in there, but I've got probably 3/8 of an inch in there. So when I do my J, I'm going to try and mimic that. Now I do this all by sight. I don't pull out a ruler and try and get it even, because one of the nice things about when we are creating is that it's fun. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, sometimes it's sort of nice to not have everything be perfect. And believe me, that's hard for me to say because I'm very much a type A personality. But if I look at this, it's pretty much straight. I see that I've got about the same space in my letters here, and so I'm going to say that's good. So now I'm going to run this through my Big Shot, and you're going to hear, I'm going to pull it right here and show you, you're going to hear a lot of noise. So I just have my Big Shot platform with my thin die adapter, and I've got one of my cutting mats here, and I just have to grab my other one. So it was not very far. So I'm going to put that in there. And now as you're running this through, don't be scared at the noise it's going to make, because that is quite loud. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to pick it up and turn it over, and I'm going to run it through the other way. There are some letters that just seem to stick in there a little bit more. For instance, I was doing an N, and that seemed to want to stick in there. So just for your own sake, as you're doing this, make sure that you give it a double dose, shall we say. And then all you're going to do is pull off your letters, and it's going to be hard to see. In fact, I think I need some color underneath there. It's going to be hard to see, but your letter is just going to pop right out. Now on the O, you may think that you want to keep the inside of the O, and I would keep these letters for sure. We can use them for doing different things, but for the card we're going to do today, we are not going to put that O back in there. I like it without. So here's our template. Hopefully you can see it there. So I've got my joy, and now I'm going to start my stencil. So that really was a really quick way. So you can make any word that you want to make out of these letters. Okay, so I'm going to pull in my piece of white, and I'll make sure I give you the measurements for this when I post the Facebook Live. But this piece of white is 3.5 by 8.5. And I'm going to take my joy, and I am going to try and center that in the middle of that. And I've got another piece of washi tape here, or I've got that same piece actually. And I'm going to pull in I put away my Coastal Cabana, here it is. I'm going to pull in my sponge and my Coastal Cabana stamp pad, and we are going to just sponge right over top of that. I'm going to push these aside because I don't want them to be in the way. So to stencil on top of this, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ink right from my pad and I'm going to collect it onto my sponge. I could have a smaller sponge, but I do like the size of this. And I want this to be pretty gentle, and I want it to be very gentle and really light down at the bottom. So I am going to start at the top. I'm using pretty light, just taps. So I'm just going to tap it on very lightly, and you can sort of see that it's got color in there, but it's not completely covered. So I'm just going to tap and tap and tap and tap. I'm going to go down the letter, and I'm actually using less tapping, so less strength as I'm going down the letter. I'm going to start on my O, and I'm going to do the same thing. And you can probably barely see the O. And I like to use the sponge a little bit more than a sponge dauber for this particular technique, because I like the variation on the, in the sponging, you can actually see the little dots in there. And on the sponge dauber, it's actually a lot smoother looking. So I like this variation. I can see there's a little piece of plastic in there. I'll just pull that out. So you want to be careful that you are not sponging above the plastic. So if you, when you're doing this yourself, if you want to give yourself a little larger piece of window sheet, you can. I'm just trying to be as economical as possible. So I'm just going to go darker at the top and lighter at the bottom. And we're actually going to cover up the bottom part of our letters anyway. So even if you did do a lot of coloring in there, you are not going to see it very much. So I'm using a little stronger tap, I guess now, for my letters. Just a little bit at the bottom. Turn that around. I don't want to get it. Doesn't matter if I get it on the bottom, but I'm trying not to get it on the bottom. So this is one thing you could probably tap like this until the cows come home, if it's something that is meditating for you or something that's sort of fun. So you can see I'm getting a little bit darker color on there now. And the card that I showed you, the sample that I had, was done in a pool party. I'm using Coastal Cabana right now, and we're going to see which one we like the best. So do you like, of the teals that we have, what's your favorite? Okay, so I'm going to go back to my tapping, and I'm going to say pretty much that I'm getting close to being done on my card. I don't want it to be too dark. I still like sort of a soft kind of look to it. So it looks, I want to finish it off a little bit here at the top. Okay, so now we can just take our template right off of there, and we've got Joy. So a tip on these, you want to have a paper towel or something that is soft. You can use wet if you want. Make sure you're doing it on a piece of paper. I'm going to go over here, and you just want to clean it off. And when I do this, it actually is sort of cool, because I'm taking the color off, but I will also leave behind a little bit of the joy here. So I could probably get another card or something out of that. So you could get two-step card making if you try. Okay, so we're done with that part. And maybe what I'm going to do, no, I'll leave that for now. I'm just going to put that aside, because now we need to do our edgelets. So what we're going to use for this is the Hometown Greetings edgelets. And these were came out last year, and they're still in the annual catalog. And I haven't used these a heck of a lot, and I quite like them, and I'm sure that lots of other people like them because they were popular last year, but I think maybe they take just a little bit of getting used to, because they're a little bit different than a thinlet or a framelit. So I want to show you how to use them today, and I want to show you how you can make a longer line than just that width. So the two we're going to use are just this top one and this one here. I'm going to show you a card I made with this one with the church, and I'll tell you at the end a little bit later why I chose not to use that. Okay, I'm going to get my card out of the way, and I'm going to pull my Big Shot in again. So what you want to do with this, and it doesn't really matter which one you're going to start with first, I'm going to put this guy on this side, and you want to make sure that this cutting, so this cuts right to the end here. There's a tiny little bit, maybe a little more than a 1/16 of an inch, I guess, where there is no cut. And so you want to cut for this particular card right to the edge. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but if I'm trying to think about going to make this straight, it's not, you want to look at the houses, and you want the houses to be straight. You don't want to try, this has got a nice curve just like there's snow there. So I'm going to put this in. Oh, that's my bottom one. When I put it in, Can you still see that? I think you can. I'm going to take my second piece, and I'm not going to put the second piece all the way over top. I'm actually going to take my second plate, not my second piece, my second plate, and I am just going to put it so that I have about 1/8 of an inch left showing of my frame, my edgelet. So there's just a tiny piece poking out here. Let me pull that out a little closer so you can see. So that's what I'm going for. And I'm going to push that through my bake shop. So you have to, whoops, just moved on me. So I'm going to try and move that back again. So just hold on to it. I've got a good hold on to it with my hands. And I'm going to push it through. There we go. Okay. And for this guy too, make sure, I'm going to pull it out and show you, make sure that your cut has gone all the way through. So that looks to me like it has gone all the way through here, but I want a little bit more here. It looks like I missed my house. So I'm going to put that back in there, and maybe I'll pull this over here so that you can see a little bit better. I'm going to pull this back in, and I'm going to go, this, I think that my plate moved there. So I'm going to go back in, holding that. So this is how you don't get your whole cut. So if you want a framelit and only want half of the framelit to be showing, say your heart, you only want the half of the heart showing, that's what you do. Okay, I can't seem to get that. Let's get this one more try, 3 times lucky perhaps. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do it the other way. Same thing. I've not got it covering that bottom, that end. Okay. Now I've got her. Okay, move that to the side. I'm going to take that out of there, and I'm going to use my die brush. And I'm just going to get rid of all those little bits and pieces. One of the nice things about this set is that it's got windows and things on it. So here we go. Hoping that I got that cut. You know what? I still didn't get that one last little bit. So I'm going to go one more time. This is why a Facebook Live sometimes is interesting. So here we go, guys. One more try, but I think I have to turn it the other way. You know, when I did these before, it was no problem. It's only because I'm on Facebook Live that all of a sudden I can't do it. Okay, so I'm going to pull this off now. And you just want to pull, this one actually comes out pretty easily. Okay, so now you're left with this. I think I'm going to have to trim that up, but that's okay. So now I'm going to pull my other one in, and I'm going to pull it right up to that edge. So I'm going to create my scene. Again, I want to straighten that up. I'm going to create my scene, and I'm going to put that through. I don't have to worry about trying not to cut all of it on this one. I'm going to go right to the edge. And I can see that I'm going to have to fix that up, but that's okay. Okay, put that one through. And there we go. So when I said I had to fix that one up, what I mean is pull that off. Let me show you what I mean here. Just a second. Get these guys all out of here. Okay, so I have a little tiny bit that did not cut there. So I'm going to go in and pull in my paper snips, and I'm just going to snip that off there a little bit. So this is what you can do if it doesn't work for you at home. You can just, the line is right there. I can see the line, so I'm just making my little house cut. And I'm going to go back here and give it the roof. So this is how you are smarter than the paper, or smarter than the big shot, or smarter than yourself at some points. Okay, so that's everything. Finally, got that cut. We're done with our edgelets. Coastal Cabana is your favorite, Marilyn?
it was nice to see it come back. It's a little bit brighter, and I just wanted, like I said, I just wanted to see how it's different than the pool party and whether we actually prefer the pool party, the lighter, softer kind of look for this card. So there we go. So we've got our piece. That was a little more work than I thought it was going to be. That is going to lay directly over top of our joy. So it's exactly the same size. So this piece of paper was 3.5 by 8.5. This was also 3.5 by 8.5. Now I'm going to take just liquid glue to glue this together, and I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm not going to use my silicone mat and my sponge for this. So I give myself a good amount of glue on the bottom, and then I just dab little bits here and there because those are going to squish out enough and stick the paper down. And put right at the top. So this is probably dotting this on. This is where I would fast forward this if I had had this and I was editing, because I'm sure that it's very interesting to watch me put dots of glue onto this guy. Okay, done. Now we're going to take that and put it right over top. So I've got a question for everybody. How many people have their Christmas tree up already? I'm curious. Because if anybody knows me and my style, Christmas trees don't go up around our house until like the 20th or 21st of December. And most people are just horrified at that. So when do you put your tree up? Send a comment and let me know. Okay, so we've got our piece done. So we've got our joy in the background, we've got our nice scene, and what I really like about this is that it's not all one level. So they're made to work at different levels. So I'm going to pull in the rest of the card items now. So I've got a piece of my silver metallic edged ribbon, and we are going to just tie that in a knot. So this is a tip. If Jennifer, you don't have yours up either, that's good. This is a tip. So this is one of my punches, and lots of you have punches. This is probably the next to largest punch. And if you take your ribbon, this actually saves you a little bit of ribbon. So rather than wrap it all the way around here and tie it, and I actually don't have enough to do that, you've wasted all of that ribbon in the back that nobody can see. So if you take one of your punches, and if you just tie your knot right on your punch, so left over right and under, then right over left and under is how I do it. Okay, I'm not going to do that too tight. And then cut it in the back. Now I want my bow to go to the right down here, so I'm going to cut mine a little bit on this side. So you just cut it off, or cut it apart, I guess. And then it's just going to lay over top, and you have lots of ribbon for the back. So to put that on, I'm going to use snail. This is usually how I put mine on. I give myself a good amount of snail, and I put it all the way around. Some in the middle for this guy. I'm going to look at it again to make sure I'm doing it in the right spot. Then I lay my bow, my ribbon, where I want it to be, and I pull this around to the back, and I lay it over top of the snail. So that will hold it in place. I know some people like to put a piece of tape. Now, the lights just went in here because our power has been off and on all day today, so I was hoping that it would stay on, but it looks like it's gone off and our generator clicked in, so hopefully you are still all able to see me. And now that I was doing that, I wasn't paying attention. So I've still got my glue on the back. Now what I do is I take my snail and I put a little bit right over top of my ribbon. So then my ribbon will stay there and not go anywhere. So I've got this right over top of my Coastal Cabana. So Coastal Cabana on Coastal Cabana. Okay, and my dog is going to bark because of the power. So hopefully he won't start to yelp too much. I've got a piece of thick Whisper White, and my thick Whisper White is, 8 by 9 1/4, and it's scored at 4. And now I'm just going to glue this one down. Now because I have that knot on there, it's going to be hard to use my snail. So I'm going to use my snail where I can and see if I can get it. Oh, I can get it going all over the whole thing. So I'm going to go with my snail and put that down over the front of my card, trying to center it. I'm trying not to get my head in here too much for you. And then while I'm at it, I'm just going to take off the ends here. I don't have my ribbon scissors, so these ones are still pretty sharp though. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick some rhinestones on there. And I just need to find my rhinestones. Oh, they were here. Here they are. Of course, they were where I thought they should have been. So I'm going to put a few up here. And I'm not thinking too much about where these are going. Sometimes if you think too much, you overthink it and you never get them actually placed down. So just go ahead and put them on there. Now I've got 6 on there. I want 7, so I'm going to put one more, and I think I'm just going to put it down here. Now if you want, one thing that you can do is stick just a little bit of a glue dot. Put a glue dot underneath that ribbon because that's a pretty big piece of ribbon and it's moving around. So I'm going to just take a glue dot and I'm going to put it down right underneath, closest to the knot there, and that'll just stop it from moving around. And then the very last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of the stamps from the Hearts Come Home, which is a match to those edgelets, and I've picked out the Wishing You a Beautiful Season, and I'm just going to stamp that in the middle. So I left my Coastal Cabana out, and I'm just going to stamp that down. I see I have a rhinestone on the inside of my card. That's a tag along. He wanted to be part of the card. So we're going to take him off. Go. Well, maybe not. There, he's stuck pretty good. Okay, so there's our card. So let's compare that to the, where did I put it? The pool party one. Here it is. And you let me know which one appeals to you more. Do you like the little bit darker Coastal Cabana one? Or do you like the pool party one? So this one's much lighter. It seems almost more white. So I don't know. I think I might like this one. But I want to show you 2 more. So I said about the one with the church. So I also did this with Noel. And this is the church. And so the church is just, I think, a little bit too tall. So with it, it is taller than my letters. So I could have moved my letters up a little bit. This is just Smoky Slate and Whisper White. So that was just my experience with the church. And then I did one in Garden Green. And these are, this is vanilla and Garden Green. So out of all of those 4 colors and some of the words, so peace, Noel, and joy, which ones are your favorite? Let me know. I'm not so sure about the Garden Green. It might just be a bit too bold for me, but it might appeal to somebody else there. So I see a pool party and a gray coming up. Jennifer likes that. Hey Karen, hey Judy, thanks for watching. So let me know which one you like. And again, for any share on this video, if you share and make a comment, I'm going to put your name in the draw. And what I'm going to draw for is the template that I made that I've lost now. So the Joy template, you all saw it here, and 2 of these cards. So make sure you share, make sure you comment, ask questions, and maybe go back and watch it again.
Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that project and that you're going to give stenciling a try. You can do stenciling not just with letters, you can do it with any kind of framelits, or probably better than something that's detailed, because you can actually get into all the little nooks and crannies. So give it a try and see what you can come up with. I like using window sheets because you can use them over and over and over again, and they don't break down. You just clean them off, put them away, and they're there for next year. So thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you again next week on my Facebook Live, and make sure you comment and share, and I will pick a winner. Bye-bye.